Hey, y'all. Oh my gosh, it is me, Sonja, back again with another podcast. And we are here just to help you live your life with a little less chaos. I am so excited to be back because we are going to be doing what we do every single time. We're going to be spending 20 minutes together at most, okay? I got to keep myself to 20 minutes. But we're going to be talking about some things to help us, one, live our lives more intentionally, but then also, two, start off our week with the right stuff. Okay. So, what we're about to do, we about to talk about the good things. What's good in your hood? Because knowing what was good in the past is going to help you do some great things in the future. Then we're going to get it out. Okay, there's some big things happening in your brain. I know it with my first generation folks. Let me tell you, we got all the things on our minds. So I'm gonna help you do something major called a brain dump. And we're gonna spend some time together to actually get it all out of your mind. Then we're gonna have our intentional topic of the week. And this week, we're gonna be walking down this road, this stairwell to intentional living, and we're gonna write our own eulogy. We're going to talk about how writing your own eulogy can help you be just a little bit more focused on your intentional life. Then we end with prayer as usual. And then we're going to see you next week. So let's get into it. The good thing. Okay, so this is the good thing that happened for me that I think is going to help me go forward the rest of these weeks. Okay, and that is that I actually got three manuscripts slash protocols slash whatever read this past week. Oh my goodness. Okay, so me in my position, I lead a branch of three teams, and they all have protocols. People have manuscripts, all types of things that I am one of the levels of review for. And everybody sent me everything this week, and I had to get it all done, and I did. Let me tell you, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself. Okay, let me tell you. All right. And so I think for me, I'm going to be really excited about moving into this next week because one, I don't have to worry about reading all of these protocols and manuscripts. But then two, it just showed me that I could actually get stuff done. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's the whole point to reflecting on the good things that have happened to you in the past week, because doing that helps you realize that you do have what it takes, that you do have the ability and the energy and the skill to be able to get it all done. Okay. So I need you to let me know in the comments what good thing happened to you this past week? What good thing did you accomplish this week? And I bet you when you write it down, it's gonna make you get, a little cocky, a little excited because you know that you can get some stuff done. All right. All right. Now let's get into the brain dump. So this is a newish segment for me. And we're doing this segment because we want to help people learn how to actually get these things out of our heads. So I learned about this program called Getting Things Done, and it is a program, a productivity type of program that was created by a guy named Josh Allen years ago. And one thing that he always talks about is this concept of mind like water. And the concept is basically like, have you ever seen a regular, just flowing stream, right? You see the water flowing gently. There's no problems. If you throw a rock in it, you actually see the ripples of the rock. So the water is what's the word I want? The water reacts to the actual stimuli, right? But then if you have a turbulent water, like a turbulent rapid what they call rapid, I don't the rapids, I don't know, the really rough rivers, those ones. If you throw a rock in there, you're not going to see anything. It's not going to react correctly to that stimuli, right? It's going to thrash the stone about, or it's just going to ignore it, or maybe it causes the rapids to be even worse. It's unpredictable. right? And that's what happens when we have a million things on our minds. And he goes off the premise that we don't have the ability to hold all of this stuff in our minds effectively. So we need to get our minds like water. And how we do that? We do that by brain dumping, by getting it out of our minds. So I'm starting this segment because I want to help you get to that space of mind like water. Because when you have that calm space, when you're able to just chill for a second, you actually, one, react to life a whole lot better, but then also you actually have room to dream. And that's all that this is about. Like this, the reason why I talk about this so passionately is because I want you to be able to dream and dream well. I want you to be able to do the great and mighty things that you have in your heart to do, that God gave you to do, right? And if you don't get these things out your mind, if you don't have a mind like water, if you don't have the space to dream, it's going to be one less thing that's going to happen in this earth that needs to happen. And we can't have that happen, okay? We cannot have that happen. We need you to do what you're supposed to be doing, okay? So I'm going to give you 3 minutes, all right? Now, I'm not going to pause, but I want you to pause this podcast. I want you to hit pause, and we're going to do this exercise. Time yourself and make sure you come back, okay? Make sure you come back. I want you to take a moment, get a piece of paper, yeah? And I want you to write whatever comes to mind. That's your prompt today. Write whatever comes to mind in a shorthand form. Just, oh, I got to go buy milk today. Got to get the rest of those groceries. Got to cook. I need to write that letter for that person. Whatever comes to mind, get it out of your mind. Take 3 minutes and then come back. Okay? I want you to do this because I know how amazing it's going to be when you actually take the time to get it out your brain. Now, in a future podcast, I'm going to tell you what to do with these brain dumps. But at least you getting them out of your mind right now is going to help you to move forward a little bit better. Okay? All right. So your brain dump starts now. All right, now, y'all. Now it is time to get into the intentional topic of the week. Oh, I'm so excited because we're going to be walking down this journey. Now, I told y'all at the beginning, we're going to be talking about writing your own eulogy. Now, I know that's real crazy. I know that can be real morbid, but it's so important to living your life intentionally, to killing chaos, and to actually focusing on those dreams. Okay, let's talk about it a little bit. Now, before I get into it, I want to back up a little bit. I started to talk about this a little bit last week, where I mentioned we're going to be talking about ways to kill chaos through focusing, right? Different practical ways to focus. And the first thing that's up is going to be this eulogy. And it is part of the practical steps through something I like to call the stairwell to intentional living, or still process, right? And this still process has 4 steps. And within those 4 steps, there's lots of different practical things that you can do regularly to help you transform your life, to help you become intentional with the moments that you have, okay? And that's what we're going to be doing throughout this season of the podcast. We're going to be walking through that stairwell of intentional living, that still process, and going through practical things in each step that's going to help you live an intentional life, okay? And then at the end of this season, we're going to talk a little bit more about actually pulling that all together and getting it done. If y'all want help with that, I would love to help you, okay? We got a whole little coaching thing that can get you right, okay? But anyway, let's break this down. The still process, like I said, has 4 steps to it, 4 stair steps. that you will continually be working in as you live, right? We won't end intentional living until the moment that we die. So why not think with the end in mind? That's why we're talking about writing this eulogy. But anyway, the 4 steps are acknowledging your dreams. We kind of hit it a little bit last week with the intro to this season when we talked about the why behind focus. Why is it so important to focus? Because you have a dream that needs to become reality, right? You have a dream that needs to become reality. You have something that God placed in you that has to come to this earth, right? God made you specifically for this thing, and it got to come to pass. So, we got to acknowledge those dreams. And we're going to continue that path today with writing our own eulogy. I'm going to give you a couple of reasons why and a couple of things to do to start that. Okay. Then the next step is living by principle. I talk about these principles all the time, how we should be cultivating these 6 key relationships or 6 key life principles in our lives, right? And I'll talk about kind of breaking down and figuring out what those 6 relationships are and how to build them in such a way that we can cultivate them, right? Then we execute by process. Well, what's the process of moving those dreams, those principles, those big ideas into reality? And it starts with the execute by process step, where we're taking time to write out goals, where we're taking time to write out and build out habits that actually move us forward, right? And then finally, that last step, what I said, execute by process. Wait, what I say? Live by principle. I got to the 4th step. Yes, acknowledge your dreams, live by principle, execute by process, and then that final one, win by practice. And we're gonna have some several practical things that we can do to kill chaos and live a life of focus, right? So we're gonna talk about brain dumping. We're gonna talk about routine stacking or habit stacking is another way of saying it. We're going to talk about all those different things, and we're going to do this through this 9 episode season. Okay, so I just wanted to walk you through that. So now let's get into writing our own eulogy. Now again, I know that's a little morbid, I know, but you would be surprised just how major taking a moment to write down your eulogy would be, and kind of solidifying the end, right? We all are going to end unless the Lord comes back, right? And before we pass. And I love, there's a verse, who says it? I forgot. One of the apostles says it, and he says that I want to be able to say, "Well done, thy good and faithful servant," right? And this eulogy exercise will help you to actually build this out and live with the end in mind, so that you live each day with importance, with excitement, with a readiness, and it's going to help you kind of move a little bit differently in your life. Okay, so let me tell you 2 things that's going to make that it makes it so important to write this eulogy. One, it gives you clarity around what you should be focused on, right? Because when you live with the end in mind, it's going to give you kind of, or when you start to write down these things that you want to be remembered by, the ideas and the things and the big things that you want to get done, oh my goodness, like it will trip you out. When I actually wrote my own eulogy, it really sobered me up, because it was like, okay, this is how I want to be remembered. Am I living that right now? Am I living in such a way that this can happen, that these words will be truthful? It really had me thinking about my life in a whole different way. I wrote some big dreams on there. Matter of fact, I should have had it up so I can read it, but like, I really wrote down some stuff, and it's scary. It is actually scary. I'm about to like see if I can pull it together real quick, because I hope that didn't black out. That was weird. Anyway, I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. I wish I thought about it beforehand to actually like read some of it to y'all, but like, that exercise was so sobering for me, so sobering. And I think it's so important that all of us take a moment to really look at our lives and see. So I'm trying to get it up right now so I can show y'all about it, right? The second thing that's so important is that it helps you to begin again life with a little bit more focus, right? It also makes the today's decisions more real. So it's so important that you take that moment to write your own eulogy, because this is the first step in truly living intentionally. When you take a moment to really look at, like, oh, wow, like, this is what I believe my life is going to do. This is the impact that I believe that my life is going to have over people. Then I got to live a little differently, right? Like, I wrote this. Oh man, this is what I wrote. The last paragraph: she left a legacy of wisdom, faith, and joy in her wake, and she will be missed by many. Right? I said, what else did I say? I laid out some of my dreams, right? Some of my desires, the organizations that I want to build. Like, so take the time to do this, because it's so key in helping you live a life of focus. All right? So, what do you do? I talked about the importance of it. It gives you clarity. It makes you live life with a little bit more focus. It makes you take your decisions a little bit more seriously, right? So, how do you do it? Well, couple of things to do. One, I would say go find some examples online. I can help you with that. I have examples for people. So if you are interested, go on and DM me and we can talk about the examples that I have, and help you to write out that eulogy. But then after you look at some examples, ask yourself a couple of questions, a few questions, more than a couple, right? But ask yourself this: what would you like people you leave behind to say about you? What would you like your family to say about you? What family would you have? You know, are you married now? Do you have kids? Do you want kids? Do you want to be married? What would your husband say? What would your kids say? What about your coworkers? What's your current career? Is this something that you see yourself moving forward in? What would your coworkers say, even in a job or a career place that you don't think you're going to stay in? What would you say? What would they say? What about your friends, your church family, your community? What would they say about you? Another question to ask yourself: how would you like to be remembered? Would you like to be remembered as someone who is kind, who really helped people out, right? And then what is the impact that you want to leave on this world? Because we all are meant to make an impact. We aren't just supposed to survive in this world. We're actually supposed to take up space and transform somebody's world. If it is you being a stay-at-home mom, transforming and forming actually the world, and the forming the newest people on the block so that they can be impactful. Or perhaps you're a doctor saving people's lives. Or maybe you are I don't know, a cashier who leaves kindness and helps people out every single time they come to your register. Like, what is your impact? What do you want to see happen through your life? Right? These are the questions to ask yourself as you're writing. And when you write it, some things are going to come up. You're going to start to see, or maybe even write down, the big, hairy dreams that you want to see happen in your life. You may begin to think about, well, shoot, am I not living in that manner? Can my family say that about me now? Can my friends say that about me now? It's going to make you start to think, right? And think about how you're living your life. And that's the key. right? Because when you start to think about that, when you start to think about those things, it transforms how you live. And now, next week, we're going to talk about how you can take all of this and start to build out those life principles and build out how you make it happen, how you truly become intentional. And I'm excited as we take this journey together. Okay. All right, y'all. So I kept talking longer than I thought I would, but it's still within 20 minutes. We're going to end at 21. Let's do this dream boost prayer. Lord, remind us of our dreams and help us to live with the end in mind. Give us glimpses of well done, thy good and faithful servant in our dreams, so that we can live with focus and intentionality. Let us dream of the good things you have planned for us. All right, now we're going to be back next week and we're going to move on to the second step in the stairwell, executing by process. And we're going to talk about how to build good and big goals. Actually, we're going to talk about that'll be the third week, fourth week, fifth week. Next week, we're going to talk about life principles. Okay. All right. I jumped ahead of myself. We're going to talk about life principles next week. Anyway, y'all, have a great week. Bye.